All right, so Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce. This was on his 1972 album, You Don't Mess Around with Jim. And I've got a ton of requests to do Jim Croce stuff over the years, so I thought I'd do this song. This was his biggest song. And although this album was released in 72, this song was released as a single in 73. The album was April 72, and this was issued as a single in November 73, so over a year and a half later. And the reason is that Jim Croce died on September 20th, 1973. He was only 30 years old. So a couple months after, basically, he died, they reissued, or not didn't reissue, but issued this as a single. Because it was never intended to be a single, it was an album track. And of course, because of the poignancy of the situation, people really responded to it, and it went on to be his biggest song. Anyways, it's played by him and his partner, Maury Mulhausen. And this guy, Maury Mulhausen, is just an awesome guitar player, like really, really good. Classically trained guitar player. If you click that eye up there in the corner, or the link in the description box below, or the first pinned comment below, it'll take you to my website, and I'll leave a link to an article there I found. Really, really informative article about Jim Croce and Maury Mulhausen and his producers and how they came to produce this song. Really, really interesting. Anyways, let's get on with it. We're in the key of D minor here. Okay, so we're going to start like this, and I'm going to do both guitar parts. Now this will be Jim Croce's part, probably the part you're going to play if you're going to sing it. But I'm also going to go over Maury Mulhausen's part because it's really, really good. And both these guitar parts are so excellent. I mean, you could play these without any melody, without singing, and it would be just awesome. Okay, so we're in D minor. So we're going to start like this. All right, so what we've got there is, we've got a descending bass, right? So we've got the D, D flat, C, B, B flat, right? So it just descends, and we do an arpeggio in between, right? So we hold this D minor chord. And right off the bat, I want to give you a tip. Mostly when you're playing like rock, pop, guitar stuff, playing chords, you're gonna kind of have your wrist behind the fretboard. Like right now, this part of my hand is touching the fretboard. But to play stuff like this, anytime you're playing kind of more classically oriented stuff, you want to get your wrist and hold it away from the fretboard. If you just watch, between there and there, that's a big difference, right? And not only that, but now I'm going to actually turn my wrist up here too, like this. And you will notice like a massive difference in being able to play stuff like this if you get your wrist in the right position. Okay, so it's just thumb on the D string, and then 1, 2, 3, G, B, and E. And then we go down 1 fret, on the A string now, that's A4. And then down another fret to A3. But when we do that one, we actually end up on the open G because we're picking up our finger to go to there for the next move. And that's really key. For the first little while, because I'd never played this song before, I just learned it for the first time for this tutorial. But I was kind of going, and it sounded, there's something wrong with that. And there is. Because if you do that open G, it'll just make the whole thing make more sense and so much easier to play. And then our final move is here, first finger on A1. And now we do this lick. It's just awesome. I just love that. So we've got A1 and B3, and then open A and B2 with the middle finger. Now we've got E3 and G3. And if you listen really carefully to the first verse, and I have a program called Transcribe that I use, and that'll separate left and right channels, and you can clearly hear Jim Croce muff this chord.
The first thing that I'd like to do.
Anyways, you know, it was the 70s, and perfection was really not the deal. It was more about the vibe, right? But now we're going to go back to that, open A and B2, but hit the G string there, and that G string is really important. And back to this, and up here to B4 or A4 and B5. Hear how I'm letting that G string ring the whole time. That's really important. And you know, he doesn't always do that on the recording, but you can tell that's what he kind of wants to do. Well, I'm assuming that, but you know, that's what I like to do, because it just makes all the difference. And now we're going to go up here with our middle finger on D8 and third finger on B8. And then down to 1 fret to D7 and B6. And then 5th fret D, 5th fret B, and we do that little trill. And if you can kind of brush that open E when you trill, all the better. I mean, you don't have to, but if you can, it'll sound really sweet. So when I'm going, I'm bouncing off the G. All right, and that's your intro. So let's go over that whole thing slowly. Alright, now we get into the singing part, and this is how that goes. Okay, so the picking's a bit different. Now we're going to go, it's thumb, thumb, and then 2 fingers, 1 and 2. So D string, G string, B string and E string with first and second fingers. Now, open D. All right, so the picking's identical there, except for when we, of course, you know, we move from the D string to the A string. But we're going G string and then 2 fingers on B and E strings. Then, and we change, you know, from the B and E to the G and the B. And then, of course, we do that lick again. Except we don't do the trill. And actually, there's an extra note in that, so I've showed you this. Right, but there's an extra note. There's this note here. So I'm hitting that G string an extra time. Right, that's thumb finger. Thumb, thumb. thumb finger. Okay, now that might be a bit much for you, you know, depending where you're at with your abilities, but you don't need to do it. You can easily just go. Right? But if you're, you know, a little bit more experienced, throw that extra note in. Okay, so now after we've done this, now we're going to change this, and we're going to go. I'll show you the simplified version. Okay, super cool part. So we've got the same thing, D string, G string, thumb, thumb, and then fingers on the B and E. So we're going straight to this. We're missing this one, right? We're going straight to this C note on A3. Then open D, and then this formation, A string, D string, then D string, B string with the fingers. Got a new figure here, which we just leave the third finger there and put the second finger on E3. And we're going E and D string now. Now we're going to go down to here, to the F note on E1, and we're going to go, also we're getting G2. And we're doing that picking. Now we're going to slide this up. So we're sliding up from E1 to E3. At the same time going from G2 to G3. Okay, so we're going. Same picking. Now we're going to go. So we've got B2, and then we've got B3 and A2. But we're sort of bouncing it off the open G string. Like so. All right. You know, it's a complex song. Hopefully this isn't too fast for people. So from that section, okay, ending up on that, you know, that pinch between the A string, open A string, and B2. Again. Okay, and that's that. Now, the more complicated version where you add that extra note would be like this. And of course, you don't need to do that. That's optional. It's just that, you know, I can hear that sometimes on the record. So that's the first two sections. Now we're going to go to the third section where we kind of modulate from D minor to D major. And we're going to go like this. It's such beautiful playing. So we're going to hold a D chord, but we're going to do it like this. Bar on G, B, and E on the second fret. with our second finger on B3. And we're going to go, so thumb, fingers on the B and E. And we're we got the descending bass again. That's the tricky one. You got to really push on that first finger. And then we go open A there. Now we're going to go to G chord. And I finger it that way with my third finger on B3. So it's thumb on E string, then D string, and fingers on G and B. Because we're sliding that down. And we put our third finger on B2 or G2 there. I'm going to go G string, B string, E string. And then ending on the open D. That's the open E string. Right, G string, E string, and then B3. And again, we're kind of bouncing everything off that G string. Do that little run. So open A, B2, A2, B3, A4, B5. And we kind of bounce off the G string again. Right? And then we just repeat it. Back to the intro. And then we do another verse. And then we do another, D major thing. And that repeats. And the last time we do this, we're going to go to the ending, which is this. Right? That's such a sweet ending. So we just holding third finger on the 7th fret of the G and the 6th fret of the B, open E string. And we just go D string, and then we just arpeggio backwards from the E string. And then we're going to go, got a little finger over there to do those harmonics on the 7th fret, G string, D string, ending up in the G string. chord. And that's it. So that's Jim Croce's part. Just awesome guitar playing. Really, really nice. And remember, you know, with your wrist, it'll make all the difference in the world if you can get that wrist away from the fretboard, and not only away, but kind of twist it a bit too, you know. So what you're doing is you're getting that little finger closer to that fret, because, you know, that's a bit of a stretch for most people, right? And that open G there is really important. Anyways, that's it for this one. Well, at least for Jim Croce's part. So I'm going to put the Maury Mulhausen part in a different video. And I would really encourage you to learn that part as well. I mean, even if you're not planning on playing this song in public or whatever, just learn it. I mean, it's just awesome guitar playing. Really, really clever and deceptively simple, actually, once you get it down. Anyways, hopefully we'll see you in that next video. And if not, I hope you get something out of this. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I hope you enjoyed playing the song. And we'll talk to you next time.